I have this merchant NPC that I was told to create. Sorry, this merchant NPC that I was told to create, to go out and like interact with players and like talk to people and make contacts and like have friends and see if people are dirty killers of innocent people, that kind of stuff. So I had this merchant NPC, and she had a couple of, her name was Stevie, by the way. I named her Stevie, and she had a couple of weapons, and a couple of catalysts, which are like small items that have a magical component. So they're like a wizards can use them to like get spells back, basically. Um, but yeah, so I had some catalysts and a couple of weapons. And these weapons were the weapons I was using to defend myself, but I sort of added them to my merchantly arsenal, you know. Um, so I went out and I sat in the tavern and I was talking to some people, going like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm a merchant," and they're like, "Oh, what do you sell?" "Oh, well, I sell catalysts," and I'm like digging around in my pocket and I pull out a bunch of catalysts and put them on the table, and it's like one is one is an hourglass that when you touch it makes you feel nervous. One is I can't remember, a chalice that makes you feel argumentative when you touch it, and another was a sword hilt that made you sad when you touched it. They like emanate emotion, the catalysts, like when you hold them in your hand, because they're like latently magical. So the chalice and the hourglass sold like pretty quickly because people wanted them. I don't know. I could find people who wanted them for a reasonable trading price, and I got some goods and we traded, and it was fun and good, and my merchant was super, well received. But I couldn't sell this freaking sword hilt of sadness. So I was going up to people and I was being like, "Excuse me." And they're like, "Hi, yeah, what?" "I happen to have something for you that I think you will like." And they're like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yes, this. See this? This sword hilt right here? This sword hilt, you see it? It's in my hand. It's fantastic, right? It's pretty cool." "Well, you know what? It's the sword hilt of a potentially magic sword. I mean, why else would it be magic? It's definitely the hilt of a magic sword," I say, not knowing any of this, like I'm just making shit up right now. It's a catalyst. They're just items that are generated, to be magic for whatever reason. People were like, "I don't know about that." I'm like, "Wouldn't you like to own a piece of history, the hilt of a sword of legend? It's clearly the hilt of a magic sword. Why would it hold latent magic if it wasn't? And I'm sure that if you refit a blade in it, you will get yourself a fine magic sword. I guarantee it. I guarantee it real hard. It's almost for sure, They're like, "Oh yeah, okay, well, how much are you asking for this magic sword hilt?" I went, "The meager sum, the mere tiny price of 4 gold. 4 gold, or equivalent trading goods of 4 gold, and we'll call it a deal." Just so you know, the regular asking price for a catalyst is 1 gold. So everybody's like, 4 gold? Are you serious? 4 gold? Yes, well, I mean, you're buying a potentially in the future investment of a magic sword worth well over 100 gold. Is it really too much to ask that you shoulder some of the risk in bartering for such an item? I don't have the expertise to craft it into a magic sword, but I'm sure that you, as stalwart adventurers and people of grand plans and high ideals, know some people who can make a sword hilt into a sword. I'm sure you do. So really, is it that big of a deal for you? You could pay 5 times that price and still come out on top. I was basically just like really selling as hard as I could Like, as hard as I could, I was throwing the sales pitch. Um, just throwing the sales pitch out. And eventually somebody did buy it. I managed to sell a catalyst, a sword hilt catalyst, for 4 gold. I even had one of the players who, like, started advocating for me, like, her goods are reliable and her service is valuable, you know, and so forth. Like I managed to make friends enough with some players that, like, my merchant is definitely going to come back to town, like, a whole bunch of times to sell stuff and talk to people and whatever. Like, it was cool. It was cool, like making that friend. Now, the other great trade that this merchant made was I had a club when I came into game. It's this club that's like a it's just a normal club. The damage type on it is normal, and it's just a club. It does 1 damage, like 1 normal. And the fizz rep that I chose was this like curved sort of like, I think it's supposed to be a sickle, but it looked like it was a club with like a curved edge on it, right? With like a ball on the end, like kind of thing, like a head knocker. So people were like, well, what else are you selling? And I would, like, take it off my lap and put it on the table, and I would say, I am selling my fantastically designed, personally crafted weapon. And they're like, it's a club. And I went, no. No, good sirs and madams, it is not a club. It is an aerodynamic wolf bopper. See, the way it's designed, the curve in it is specifically generated and forged that way so that it bypasses their little snoots and bops them straight on the head, and they're down like lights, you know? Instantly. Just a little, and they're down. The aerodynamic wolf bopper. See? See, it's all about the technique. It's not a club. It's an aerodynamic wolf bopper. And people are like, what? I'm like, yeah, it is. And my friend, one of my friends who I'd made through doing these sales, takes out an item and he goes, I will trade you for the aerodynamic wolf bopper. I will trade you my weighted rat smasher. And I went, you have a weighted rat smasher? I have to see this. He takes out a silver club. It's just a tag for a silver club. And I'm looking over it and I'm saying, like, you sure you want to trade the weighted rat smasher for the aerodynamic wolf bopper? Yes? Alright. That's a deal. That's a deal, good sir. So I trade him a normal club for a silver club. Silver is worth 4 times as much. 4 times. Like, the base price, 4 times as much. But the roleplay was going so well that I think I made a sale based on that, which is kind of awesome. So I had this weighted rat smasher now. And I of course wanted to upsell the weighted rat smasher. You know, we needed to now trade our silver weighted rat smasher for something else. So the aerodynamic wolf bopper, took the tag off the fizz rep, you know, tucked it away and handed the tag to my friend, who I was like, you know what, I'll see if I can get a tag for a normal club that says aerodynamic wolf bopper on it, because I know that you traded for the roleplay. And he's like, yeah, of course. So I snuck away for a little while, went to logistics, and I was like, I just did some roleplay with a person where I gave them a normal club in trade for a silver club, but I called it an aerodynamic wolf bopper. Can we write aerodynamic wolf bopper on the tag and then give that to him? And the logistics peeps were like, yeah, totally. You know, so write up the tag, come back in, I'm like, I'll take that normal club tag, rip that up, you know, and here you go, here's an aerodynamic wolf bopper, yeah! Mechanically, it does absolutely nothing different, but the power of roleplay. The power of roleplay, my friends. Got an aerodynamic wolf bopper sold. Just a normal club. And that's what I mean by, like, having fun with your roleplay and making deals that, like, maybe mechanically aren't the best, but, like, will make for the best stories, you know? My friend knew that what he was trading me was worth 4 times as much as what I was giving him, but he still did it anyway. And it's a good story, I think. So yeah, Stevie, my salesperson, my merchant, will be definitely coming back into town. Though, as a merchant, you generally get lots of suspicious looks as well, because people ask you where your goods come from, and, like, my merchant's on the level, you know? She gets her goods from a supplier and, like, you know, nice people, and trades them to the fine people of the town. But everybody's like, what battlefield did you steal them from? Where have you been looting all these items that you so-called are selling? I'm going to have to confiscate them in order to make sure that you're on the level as a merchant. And I'm like, well, what makes you more on the level than me? You know, as an NPC, you face a lot of, like, roleplay that would only happen to an NPC, you know? Anyway,